Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Lewis here, and I just wanted to post a video showing the current state of New York City, I guess during the reopening phases of the quarantine process. It seems to be really unclear amongst most of the residents, myself included, as to what exactly those four phases are, what will be opening up, what we can and can't currently do. So I just wanted to just clarify that for everybody, New York City residents and people who maybe don't live in New York City, just so everyone has a better idea of what's going on. So just a quick idea of what I did. I traveled through a couple of the more populated areas in New York City. Not all of them, just some of them. Fulton Street, Wall Street, over down to South Ferry, through the courts, Canal Street, SoHo, and up to 42nd Street. What I found was there was a decent amount of residents in some parts of New York, but other parts, especially the parts that are normally really packed and really populated, we're dead, we're empty. For example, Fulton Street, Wall Street, this whole area around One World Trade Center where the Twin Towers were. It's really empty. You could see the new Oculus, which is essentially a mall in itself here, is completely dead. There's a few people walking around. That's because it also connects through the train stations, which I've been actively staying away from. It connects to all of the R1, N, A, C, all the trains you could find in the Fulton Street station. It's connecting all those trains. There's just a couple of people traveling back and forth. You could see some construction workers here. The construction workers aren't even actually working yet. Well, as of right now, as of the posting of this video, they will be working, which is going to be part of phase one. So what does phase one include? Phase one is going to include the reopening of construction manufacturing businesses, wholesale supply chains, and most retail shops are going to be allowed to open to some capacity for in-store pickup and returns. Customers are not going to be able to shop. They're not going to be able to actively walk around the store and shop for items. They can place orders, they can go to the store, and they can pick it up. Some stores, I know electronics stores for sure, were definitely part of the essential businesses that were still allowed to do so. Restaurants as well were part of the essential businesses that were allowed to do so. But they're still going to pretty much remain closed. So you can see here, I mean, this is all of Wall Street right now. There's a couple of people who work in the area who are walking around, but for the most part, this is an area, especially during the time I was here around 4 or 5 o'clock, which is really, it's rush hour around the city anywhere. You know, people start getting out of work around 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. You will find the trains to be extremely packed, extremely busy. Wall Street, everybody's getting out of work, heading home, and there was nobody. A couple people in the streets, definitely a lot of cars. You'll see in the video later in Canal Street, there was definitely a lot of cars as well, but really not much. I'm coming along South Ferry here, and you'll see coming up South Ferry usually, which is also a very populated area, more tourists, I want to say. There's usually more tourists in this area. You'll see a lot of them renting bikes to kind of bike around the bike path that's here over by the by the river. But there was really a couple local residents walking their dogs, as you can see, just really studying, maybe working outside. But not many at all. A handful of people compared to what's normally there. I think coming around phase two, we'll definitely start to see a lot more people in the streets. The trains will start to become a little more crowded, and the reason for that is phase two is actually going to start allowing businesses to reopen. Offices can start to reopen. Dining spaces, restaurants can reopen. Outdoor spaces for the most part, including places of worship, churches, things like that. They'll be able to open to some capacity, not completely though. Finance departments, finance businesses are going to be opening up. Insurance companies, real estate companies, all these companies that kind of rely on their employees to travel back and forth, or rely in some way for their clients or customers to engage with them personally, will be able to reopen. And like I said, that's when we'll be able to see more or less where people are going to be. All these courts that you see around here, All of the New York State officials are going to be working again. They're all going to be back in the area. And then we come to Canal Street. Now, Canal Street, you can see, is dead. I mean, there's really no other way to put it. It's completely dead. This is a place that's usually extremely packed. I mean, you have Canal Street, Little Italy, Soho, all in this one area here, in this one big square area. And there's nobody. I mean, one or two people on each block, maybe. I was able to take some decent shots of this alley here just because there was no people whatsoever, which is crazy. I couldn't believe anything I was seeing when I was walking through the streets here. Now, again, most shops have been closed for quite a while. Soho, which is a huge shopping district, has, I want to say, stores have been closed for 2-3 months coming up now. So all of this area is completely empty. I was even more shocked about this, only because if you've been to Soho, if you've been to New York, if you live in New York, if you've lived here for a short time, you would know this is relatively one of the biggest shopping areas you can find in New York City, other than maybe one or two other places. All the stores are closed, obviously, because of COVID-19 quarantine closures. Nobody's here. This is shot on a Thursday. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, this whole area, you find Broadway, Lafayette, the whole west side. Anything after Houston Street, we call it Houston, not Houston. Anything after Houston Street, which is the NoHo area, you will find just shops and tons and tons and tons of people. You can see there was nothing here. In fact, some places actually went as far as preparing themselves to close for the next 2 to 3 months. For example, in another clip you'll see coming up soon enough, some stores, you can see some of the stores actually took into consideration that they would be closed for 2 to 3 months and boarded up. They had already done, they already knew that this was going to be a thing that was going to last for quite a while, and they wasted no chance to make sure everything was protected and secured the way it should have been initially. A lot of stores, I guess, had expected, or a lot of companies had expected to open up a lot sooner, but that didn't really go as planned. Phase 3 is going to change all of that, though. So phase 3, hospitality company industries, restaurants, food services will actually be allowed to completely reopen. Now, that's kind of a bit vague as well, but because a lot of restaurants, hotels, especially hospitality industries, they've been open for the most part. They're considered essential companies, and a lot of restaurants have been delivering food already for customers. Nobody can go in and dine until phase 3. You'll be able to actually sit at restaurants, of course, like a 50% capacity. Then only going to be allowing so many people. It's going to be like that for who knows how long. It'll probably be like that forever, for all we know. But they will be able to start allowing a lot more customers to come in. Hotels can start taking regular customers, which means hopefully maybe international travel can open up again. But that's kind of seeming little less likely to open up, as soon as the city is back up and running. You can see here in 42nd Street, there's definitely nobody, no tourists, no international travel, nothing going on. I've never seen 42nd Street this empty. In fact, I've never even been able to walk on the sidewalk in 42nd Street for the most part. I've always walked in the street to avoid foot traffic and to avoid people and to get myself out of there as soon as possible. And in this case, I was just coasting right through. No problems. You could see a couple of people in the streets, probably, locals, or people trying to take advantage within the neighborhood, or maybe like that, right in the outer states. Otherwise, that's about it. I have some other videos planned probably for the New York City Ferry, subway travel. You can see this crazy tunnel coming up that I shot some video of. I want to get more of it. But my next videos are going to probably be more interactive, trying to make something so people can try to do while they're at home during quarantine. But thank you for watching the video. Subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Like the video if you liked it. Like the video if you didn't like it. anything will help out. Leave some comments if there's anything in particular that you guys may want me to shoot, may want me to capture, something you want me to try to have a bit more attention on. Just let me know in the comments. I'll try to get back to you guys, and I'm always looking for new ideas, so I'll be posting some videos shortly. See you guys soon. Thanks.